All right, let's take a look at some word problems here. So my strategy for word problems is find and highlight what you know. Okay, step one, find and highlight what you know, then find and highlight what you're looking for, and possibly assign it a variable. Okay, assign variable, and then create your equation and then solve. Okay, so follow these steps when you encounter a word problem. Find what you know, find what you're looking for, create an equation, and solve. So let's apply that right now. So a flower garden is in the shape of a rectangle. So there's something we know, it's in the shape of a rectangle. The length of the garden is 2 meters longer than the length of the shed. So 2 meters longer than the length of the shed. Beside it, the width of the garden is 4 meters. So we know that the width is 4. So let's just write this out. I'm just going to write. So length equals 2 meters longer. So plus the shed. So shed, we'll say shed. And the width of the garden is 4. If the area of the garden is 20 meters squared, what is the length of the shed? So we are actually looking for the shed length. So that's what we're looking for. The length of the shed is what we're looking for. So we could assign that a variable. I already wrote shed here. So let's assign that a variable s. So let's say shed is going to be s. So 2 plus s. So length is 2 plus s, width is 4, area is 20. Now if we remember all the way back to when we learned area, we know that area equals length times width, or area equals LW, length times width. So now why don't we just plug in all of our values into this formula? So length would be our 2 plus s, our width would be 4, and our area would be 20. So let's rewrite that. So 20, so I'm going to say area equals length times width. So area is 20 equals our length, which is 2 plus s, and our width, which is 4. So 2 plus s times 4. Or as we've been seeing in this chapter, with the 4 on the other side over in front. It doesn't necessarily matter where the 4 lies, but we've been kind of seeing it the other way. So let's just write that one more time, with the 4 in front. It would be the same thing, 2 plus s. So we can see we have a formula now that looks very similar to the ones we've been solving. So we can use our strategies from before in order to solve this. So I'm going to use the divide first method. So let's divide it by 4 here and divide by 4 here. These are going to cancel out. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And we have 2 plus s. And then we're going to subtract 2 because we're adding 2 here. So subtract 2, and 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0, so 3 equals s. So we can say the shed is 3 meters long. Not too bad when we list out what we know, list out what we don't know. That's the key part. This up here is the hardest part of word problems. So just read it carefully, write what you know, write what you don't know, and then solve. All right, let's try another one here. So here we go. Barney wants to frame a square picture of his dog. The frame he bought fits a picture with a perimeter no greater than 36 centimeters. Perimeter no greater than 36 centimeters. He plans to put a 2 centimeter blue border around the picture. What equation models this situation? All right, so we've only been given 2 numbers here, so let's check this out. So the perimeter can be no greater than 96. Okay, 96 centimeters. The perimeter for a square, we also know this photo is a square, right? Did we say that? Wants to frame a square picture. So a square picture, so all of the side lengths are equal if it's a square. So the perimeter for a square is 4 times the side length, or 4 times, let's do s, 4 times side length, okay? So these are going to be, these are going to be s, 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 and s. So 4 times s, right? And now he plans to put a 2 centimeter border around the picture. So we can see that this side length is going to have a border of 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters, but this is also going to be 2 centimeters. So we're going to have 4 centimeters that we need to account for on each side. So our side length is going to be 4. Let's see. So we need to figure out what the side length would be because we don't know that number. So side length, okay, it's going to be 4. Or no, sorry, it's going to be, yeah, so we're adding 2 twice. So that's why it's 4. Let me just explain why I'm saying 4. Because we're adding 2 here on for the vertical border and 2 here, this little nugget and this little nugget. So 2 plus 2. So our side length would be 2 plus 2 plus whatever this is in the middle. So we don't know what this is. So we will call that, let's call that x because we don't know. 2 plus 2 plus x. Okay? Or we could simplify this because we know 2 plus 2 is 4. So we could say 4 plus x. Okay, so now we have our side length, and we can probably create ourselves a formula. So if we know that perimeter is 4s, and we also know perimeter is 96, we could create an equation that looks like this. 96 equals 4s. And now 4s, we also know that s is this, right? So we could plug s in, 4 plus x into here. So 4 plus x. So take a look at that again and see what I did. So basically we figured out what the side length is here, and we plugged it in to our perimeter formula. And we also know the perimeter is no more than 96. So here's an equation to model the situation. So now it's saying determine the maximum dimensions that the picture can have. So this would be solving for our x. So I'm once again going to do the divide first method. So let's do this, divided by 4 here, and we're going to get, and then we're going to divide by 4 on the other side, right? So now we have 96 divided by 4, which is going to be 24, and this is going to cancel each other out, and we have 4 plus x, and now we're going to subtract 4 from this side and subtract 4 from this side. These are going to cancel. This is going to equal 20 equals x. And so the maximum dimensions that our picture can have is we can have a side length of 20. So the picture can have a side length of 20 centimeters. There we go. That is how we get our answer. So once again, let me know if you have questions. Oh, we do have one more. One more. Okay, let's do one more quickly. A computer rental company charges by the hour $5 for the first hour. $5 for the first hour. And $4 for every hour after that. The fee rate can be modeled with the equation. Here we go. They gave us a nice equation. Very nice. Where n is the number of hours greater than 0 and t is the rental fee in dollars. So n is number of hours. Okay, so let's write that out. Write out what we know. So we know n equals number of hours. And t is the rental fee. Okay, t is the rental fee in dollars. So Candy's rental fee was $17. For how many hours did she rent the computer? Okay, so Candy's rental fee in total was $17. And how many hours did she rent the computer? So let's use our equation here. So 4n, let's write it out. 4n minus 1 equals t minus 5. All right, so Candy's rental fee. So the rental fee is t, right? So her rental fee was 17. So let's plug 17 in for our rental fee here, which is t. So we're going to take 17. We're going to plug it in for t. So let's rewrite our equation now. So we have 4n minus 1 equals 17 minus 5. So 17 minus 5 is going to be 12. So now we have 12 on this side, and we have 4n minus 1. And so now we can solve for the number of hours, which is n. So let's solve for our variable n. Let's divide first. Divided by 4. Here we go. Divide by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is going to be, is going to be 3. equals n minus 1. So since we're subtracting 1, we need to add 1. And we need to add 1 to this side because we always have to do double on both sides. Cancel that out. So n is equal to 3 plus 1, or n is equal to 4. So she rented the computer for 4 hours. So she rented the computer for 4 hours. Yay, there we go. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.